Hey, Jason.
Hi.
I heard we've got a rad dude for this episode.
That's right. Well, listen to this. We got marketing insurance relationships. So let's just get into it right now and get some of NATO's nuggets.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Insurance Dudes, a podcast for insurance agency owners helping us to think of different ways to optimize our business and our lives.
Nothing.
What's up?
What?
Tried to get a reaction out of you. It didn't work.
I was trying to plug in my mic. I was like, hold on, let me get this right.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Nato.
Of course, man. I don't know if I was late or what happened, but I'm here.
It's all
No,
good.
it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good.
Good.
Your name's been brought up so much lately. We're like, we gotta talk to him. We gotta talk.
Good.
You're doing something right over there.
I hope so, man.
So tell us a little bit about your background for somebody who, again, is living under a rock, hasn't seen your ads or anything. So,
Oh, you haven't seen my ads?
oh, I
No.
have.
Oh,
We have, but if somebody hasn't or they don't know who you are,
gotcha. So I've been in the insurance industry maybe what year are we in? 2019. Apparently 6 years, and I started off as a captive agent with Liberty Mutual. And after working there for about 3 years, I wanted to start my own agency. So for a lot of reasons. So I started my agency, about 2.5 years ago. And my wife that, she worked for Liberty Mutual for about 10 years. She ended up joining me a year after. So I had to take her from making six figures for 10 years to saying, hey, come join me and make nothing. so I had to sell her on, the vision on this is what it's going to look like. But, sometimes it's hard for somebody to see the vision when they've been accustomed to making a certain amount every year. So started my agency about 2.5 years ago. I realized before I even started the agency, I knew that I had to be different from everybody else, right? I had to, at Liberty Mutual, they taught go get referral partners. That was the thing. They call them COIs. Okay. I don't know if you guys ever heard the term.
center of influence.
Yeah.
Centers of influence, right? So go out and get centers of influence. So how do you go out and get centers of influence? Is what my question was. Well, go out there, bring them donuts, and ask for referrals. That was their strategy. Like, go out there and do that. So every time I went out there and asked for the business, brought cookies, brought donuts, or whatever, it just always felt really awkward to me. Like, really awkward. Like, it was hard for me to like ask for the business when I'm not giving anything first, right? It just felt weird to me. So I'm like, man, there's got to be something different that we can do. So I started learning different things on lead generation, how lead generation worked. I started going to seminars. I started hiring coaches. I started taking Facebook courses, and I started generating insurance leads for myself. And it worked okay. But they're internet leads. You still have to call them within a minute, within 5 minutes. You still have to call them 5, 6, 7, 12 times to close a deal. So my thing was, why not give leads to referral partners in exchange for their business? So I tested that out. It worked really well for one of my loan officers. And I just kept doing that with different loan officers. And that's what my strategy is now. Like, my biggest strategy is I give value first, and then the more value I give, the more business I get.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So,
Was that too long?
No. Everybody keeps asking us that.
Because, man, I'm not used to, you know what, as a sales guy, I'm actually not used to talking much. I'm used to asking questions a lot. And especially when I talk to some of my, potential students, I'm only asking questions. I'm not really talking that much usually.
Mhm.
So it's weird to be on the other side and you guys asking me questions and I have to answer them.
And especially talking about yourself, right? That can be uncomfortable.
I mean, some people like talking about themselves, but yeah, I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. You were just saying that normally you're teaching, right? So how did you get into that? How did you get into the teaching aspect of it? So you're
Okay.
starting this agency that wasn't too long ago, generating leads. So you're still building the agency. You're still early on in that. And then you take another venture to now start teaching lead gen.
Yeah. So, so as I was learning to do all this stuff, and I actually hired a coach that I guess you guys interviewed already, Bobby Stocks.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started working with Bobby Stocks probably in 2017 when I was getting, generating leads and I got, I was probably one of his first students and we're working together. And then other insurance agents saw what we're doing or what the leads I was generating. And they were asking me, hey man, can you help me with this? I'm like, only if you don't live in Houston, because I don't want to help you if you live in Houston. That was my mindset then. It's not my mindset now. But so people would start asking me like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, sure, I would help people out for free. And then they're like, can you just do it for me? Because I don't know how to do this. Like, you can explain this to me. If you can just do it for me, how much would you charge me? I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know how much to charge you. So I started helping people out for free first. And then people started asking me. Then I charged one person. And then I started doing this for these guys, setting up funnels to generate leads for them. And one day Bobby's like, hey man, you should do a course. I'm like, no, man, I'm like too busy. Like in my agency, there's no way I can do this. So after like him asking me 3 or 4 times, I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. So that's basically how I started going from like lead generation, doing it for these guys, and then now having the course.
How are you managing all that? Like, to go into starting an agency, usually you're the everything in that agency, right? So it sounds like that you've moved kind of up the scale. You're hiring multiple teams in different companies. How is that growth and how have you been able to do it so fast?
Man, I definitely couldn't do it without my wife because she had so I'm big on systems and processes. So I can only do that for certain things, but without my wife being there, there's no way my agency would just, she handles most of it now. My job in the agency now is to, well, I call myself like the rainmaker, bring in the leads. And then my wife and the team closes the leads, right? I'm out there getting referral partners, managing all the leads online, and I just send them to them and they close it. So to answer your question, is by people and systems is how I'm doing it. And there's some days that, I don't get that much sleep.
Yeah, I bet.
It's just how it is.
So working with your wife, that's probably made it easy to have different lanes, right? So that you're not.
That's a whole other thing, man. Like we can talk about just that on like a whole different show as far as like relationships and like working together. Because me and my wife, we literally got married, and then a month later we started working together.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're like newlyweds, and now we're like partners in an insurance agency. So we had to go through all that the first year, and I was already almost a year in, right? And I already had my systems, and I thought my systems were perfect until she came in and says, "No, this is not right. This isn't right." And it was a struggle, right? Because I'm used to like having control of everything, and she's coming in here changing things. So yeah, man, that's a whole nother show, and we could talk about that for like an hour.
No, that's good. That's everyone. Well, most people listening to this are married or in relationships. So I could imagine like the first year of marriage for me was so difficult. So having that element plus the first year of business is so difficult. Like talk about a double whammy.
Man, these 2.5 years have been like a roller coaster. Like it's just like crazy. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride and the journey.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
And so you're scaling at a massive level. Like I see your ads. So your ad spend is crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what you call crazy, but to me, I've never spend that much on marketing. What I spend on marketing in one day is what I used to spend the whole month. So yeah, it's to me, it's crazy to look at the numbers now.
And how is that? How did that mindset? How was that mindset? How did that shift? And how long did it take to get to where you're at now and all that?
So
From, like,
are we talking about the course side or are we talking about the agency side? Because when you see my ads on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you see my ads, those are to promote the course most of the time. I don't think you're going to see, unless you're in my area, you're going to see my insurance ads.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're seeing those ads, they're probably for the course.
It's definitely the course. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
are you asking about the course or are you asking about the
Yeah, I'm asking him a little bit more about the course. So, I mean, it seems like the course is where you're spending most of your time right now. And I mean, it seems like it's going so fast. Like, I didn't see your ads, you know, I know that you started doing this, what, a year and a half ago, right? Or 2 years ago?
Yeah,
Now,
but the course didn't start till October. So we're, what, 10 months in, 9 months in already.
crazy.
And when I started I'm gonna go back to the agency. When I started the agency, the first year, it was basically just me. I was doing everything, right? I was doing like the marketing. Like I would sell from like 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. From 5 to midnight, I was literally testing ads like every day for like 2 years until I got it right. So the first year I was marketing, I was talking to clients, I was selling, I was doing customer service, I was doing everything. Then my wife came and then she kind of helped me out with some of that. So now 2 years later, now we have 10 people on our team. And now it's more like systems. This person does a certain thing and that's all they do. This person does another thing and that's all they do. So it kind of lets me do like the fun stuff for me and the stuff I really like to do and what I think I'm really good at.
Yeah, what you're good at and what you love is the mantra that we learned from Bobby, right? Bobby talked a big piece of that, and how when you're the one man band, like you were at the beginning, like how tough that gets and how burned out you get so quickly, right? You can't. It's not sustainable.
It's not, man. There's at some point you have to put systems in place. You have to build a team so you can focus on what you really like to do and what you're really good at. I know what I'm not good at, and that's the first thing I outsourced. What I did was this is what I did for myself. I wrote down everything I didn't like to do on a piece of paper, and I knew when I was going to hire somebody, that was the things that I wanted them to do. And that's what I put on like an ad to hire somebody. You need to be good at this. You need to be good at that. You need to be good at this. And that's exactly what I hired for my very first hire, other than my wife. Because I knew that's not what I wanted to do, man. That's not what I wanted to spend my time on. And what I see a lot of agents doing is they've been an agency owner for like 5-6 years, and they're still doing customer service. It's fine if you like doing that, but I know that some of these agents don't like doing that. So that they really should be outsourcing that. And if their passion is selling, they should be focused on selling and hiring somebody to do the service work.
Yeah. It's almost like putting your ego on the shelf, like how you were talking about earlier. It's like your systems are right. Like at some point you had to put your ego on the shelf and say, all right, we're going to try your systems and stuff like that in order to really grow this thing.
Right.
Plus happy wife, happy life.
Oh yeah, man. Now it's like whatever she wants, that goes. It just makes life smoother, man. Like not only at work, but at home also.
You're like 10 years into marriage now because of all this, right?
Oh yeah. Like I'm past that. What is it? That 7-year mark where you're whatever it is, but I'm past that point. We're good, man.
You accelerated the whole thing. That's awesome.
It is, for sure.
What are you excited about nowadays? Like now looking into the future, and you've kind of got over all these hurdles. What excites you?
Man, what excites me right now is helping other agents do what I did in that short period of time. So instead of them having to go through those struggles that I went through, like, you know, from 5 to midnight testing ads and things like that, or putting systems into place, arguing with my wife about doing this in our systems and this shouldn't work. Like what I get excited about when I wake up in the morning is like helping other agents grow their business. That's what that's what my passion is and what I like to do.
That's cool. And now you get to focus on it.
Yeah, because every day I'm literally just talking to agents and I'm asking them questions like, hey man, what are you struggling with? And what can I help you with? Like, and I get to, and most of the time I hear the same things as far as agents and what they're struggling with. And it's a lot of times it's systems and generating leads and things like that. It's usually the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk a little bit, speak to the course, because, you know, our listeners are always looking to solve these challenges that I think that you're solving. So could you go into that?
Yeah. Like, anything specific?
Just talk at a high level about the course, what people can expect from it. And then we'll ask
and maybe speak to those top 3 things that you're hearing nonstop from each agent, because you're probably hearing the same things, right?
Yeah.
Like the same problems.
Yeah. And I also want to leave today with like giving like your audience like something that they can work on, like after they hear this, right? Like something they can, without even going into the course, they don't have to join the course, like something they can take away and say, man, I need to try that. So one of the things I hear about this, guys, or one of the questions I do ask is, do you have a CRM system in place? And surprisingly, a lot of people do not. A lot of people still using spreadsheets. So you have to have a way to track your leads, right? You got to have a way to track your leads and have a way to get those leads to the point of sale. I use a software. I'm not affiliated with it at all, but it's called Pipedrive. It's so inexpensive, and it's an excellent way to monitor your leads and also track your progress on your sales. So when I first started talking about systems, CRM is probably the first thing I talk about. And as far as other systems to get into place, you as an agency owner, you need to have systems for the sales part. You also need to have a system to nurture your clients long-term. So what I mean from that is, once you get a client in your agency, what are you doing with that client? Because sometimes you'll sell a client, let's just say, since I focus on home insurance, right? You need a way to, let's just say you sold a client just home insurance, and you sold them, you try to cross-sell auto, but for whatever reason, you didn't get that sell. You need to have a way to keep in touch with that client and try to sell them auto and life insurance or whatever other products you sell them to. So you need to have a process for that. You need to have a process on how to get referrals. Yes, you ask for referrals on the sale, but you also have to have a process where it's asking for referrals on a consistent basis, and also a process to get reviews on Google and Facebook. I'm more focused on Google now because what I've seen is that people, when they search for you, they actually read the reviews on Google for whatever reason, not on Facebook. That's just what I've seen. So they need to have a process to nurture these, and not only new clients, but what are you doing with the leads that you don't sell? Are you just like never touching those people ever again? Because you've paid a lot of money to get those guys in your door. Now you got to find a way to sell them at some point, right? So I'll tell you what I use. I use a software called Active Campaign, and it's just an email. You can use anything. You can use, I don't know, you guys name an email autorespond. MailChimp. It doesn't matter. Just something that you can put in a database where you can send them emails and nurture these leads. Not only the people that you sold, but also the people that you didn't sell. Because there's so many times where my automation, they reply to one of those emails and say, hey, yeah, it's been 6 months. So one of my emails that goes out, it's like 6 months after we've quoted them, right? Saying, hey, I know 6 months ago we weren't competitive. Let's try it again. I don't know how many emails we get and say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and quote it. And we sell that lead. So if you're not doing anything with the leads that you didn't sell, I would definitely implement something like MailChimp. Active Campaign is great. And touch those people every 6 months or every year or whatever. So that's, as far as systems, that's kind of some basic stuff that I would definitely implement.
As Allstate agents, we have access to eAgent, right? Which I'm sure Jason would encourage people to use.
Yes. Okay. Well, use something. Right. Is that what you guys are? Are you guys Allstate agents?
We're both Allstate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So yes, just use something. Don't let those leads go away and not do anything with them.
Is that what you're seeing? You're seeing a lot of agents that are just buying leads, no CRM, like spreadsheet, and then it's like tossing it, kind of.
Yeah, not as much lately, but when I first started, yes. But I do see that one of the questions I ask is, what are you doing with, the leads that you didn't sell? They're like, I don't know, nothing. So yes, I am seeing a lot of that. And I am also, the question I ask is, how are you keeping in touch with your current clients? And they're not doing that either. So I am seeing a lot of that.
And so you're helping. Go. These are two things that can be completely automated, so the same amount of work once it's set up. I mean, ultimately there's virtually no work once these things are set up, and they're musts. They're must-dos.
That's correct, man. All the work's really up front, and once you do it, it's very little tweaks that you have to do. Very little. I don't know the last time I touched my automation, actually.
You mentioned Google. So you were doing a lot of Facebook ads in the past. Are you doing a lot more YouTube and Google?
No. When I was talking about Google, it's just getting the reviews. When I first started doing lead generation, I did start with Google, and I just found that it was very expensive for me to generate leads on Google. My return has been a lot better on Facebook. Nothing about Google, because I know some people that do very well with YouTube ads. So nothing against that. It's just my preference is Facebook ads. Maybe at some point when it's, my return isn't as great, maybe I'll move on to another platform.
Have you seen a change in that? Have you seen a change in the cost of Facebook leads?
Yeah, so when I first started, I have seen maybe not double, but maybe 1.5 times more in my experience on the leads that I'm generating. But so, yeah, and that's probably because of people like Bobby Stocks. So we can blame him on that. Like, he's taught all these guys on how to do this. So now there's more competition out there. So it's going to be more expensive, and it's only going to get more expensive as more people learn how to do this. And it's just going to get more expensive. It's just how it is as time goes on.
Well, and as the big players start to enter, because right now anybody can do it, right? But as your big marketing agencies that still are dinosaurs and marketing the old way figure out that there's this thing called Facebook, that could have a significant impact on the model too, huh?
Oh, big time. Because now as a small player, like I'm very small. As a small agency, I can compete against the big agencies through Facebook right now. And that's the thing about Google, like not YouTube ads, but just Google itself. If you try to market for like home insurance or auto insurance, you're competing against these big guys with big budgets. You have no chance. You could, but it's just a lot tougher. But this is what I've seen on Facebook lately, is that you can compete as a small agency, but I have seen CPA marketers. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's like the guys that there's this CPA networks that pay these marketers per like lead. So I've been seeing a lot more of these kind of marketers go on there, but only for auto insurance, not for home insurance. And that's another point that I was going to bring up is all my marketing is geared towards home insurance, everything. Nothing is auto insurance, because auto insurance tends to be a lot more expensive to market for. It also tends to bring less quality clients, I would say, that I want, and they don't stick around as much. They're usually shoppers. So what that means is they might stay on your books for maybe a year, and then they're going to shop you again the next year. So that's why all my marketing goes towards home insurance, and also like referral partners like loan officers and realtors, which is like what we're really focused on.
What do you see some trends that are changing and where it's going?
As far as what?
As far as marketing, but I guess as far as like lead gen and I don't know, is there anything new players that are entering in? And
so what we talked about before is we're seeing an increase in price. That's not going to stop. So at some point your return is going to be a lot lower. So I'll be honest, right now it's not super hard to do it, but it's going to get a lot harder. And so what that means is you're going to have better relationships with your referral partners. You're going to have a tighter automation to try to squeeze out more, cross-selling and doing things like that. So right now, because it's not super competitive, right now it's the time to get in, because when it gets really expensive, your systems are going to have to be very good.
That's a good point. That's a very good point to start doing this stuff. At least get on the playing field, because at some point there's going to be this huge barrier for entrance, right?
I think I don't know if it'll be like Google, where the person with the most money wins. That's what it seems like Google is. I mean, I could be wrong, but like I can't compete with Geico on auto insurance leads on Google, man. It's like impossible. But I can run some ads for maybe home insurance or for my referral partners on Facebook and do very well.
That makes sense. Cool, man. Any other little nuggets we can give anybody? And then also, how can somebody get a hold of you if they don't want to do the lead gen? Because I mean, honestly, how many hours in a day, right?
So here's the thing. The course is really a do it with us type of course, or do it yourself. It's video based. You just watch the videos and you do exactly what we tell you. We give you the ad copies for this. But I got away from like doing it for people, only because it just took too much time. So I feel like with the course I can hit more people and help more people out. And so I forgot what your question was, but to get a hold of me, you can look me up on Facebook. My name's a little bit hard, but it's unique. So if you just put Nato, Nato, I'm sure I'm like probably the only Nato on Facebook. I'm almost positive.
And if they hit go ahead.
The course has the walkthrough. So if you're thinking like you don't have time to do this, it'll take you from step one, I have no idea what I'm doing, into, hey, we're launching ads that are proven to work. Yeah.
So, I told you I was testing ads from like 5 to midnight. Like these guys don't have to do that. Like the time that they can incorporate this and get results is a lot shorter time span than what I had to go through. So it's video based, and it's very step by step, and we literally give you like the ad copy. Here's the ad copy. Here's the images. All you have to do. The only thing we don't do is like we don't grab their mouse and like go and click. We don't do everything else. We have a whole group of coaches that are there to help. But yeah, it's very step by step with everything that they need to start generating leads.
That's cool. Get on the field before it's it's too expensive, right?
What's that?
I said get on the field before it's too expensive.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna get more competitive as we go along. I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and also I don't know if you know, but Bobby is a partner of me on this course. So one good thing about having Bobby on my team is that I'm like, okay, so if I'm stuck with somewhere, like, hey man, we're stuck with this funnel. I don't know why this funnel is working. I'm like, hey Bobby, can you check it out? That dude the next day was like, yeah man, I fixed it. This thing's running pretty good. And then we go test it, and a whole bunch of leads starts coming in. So it's a good thing to have like Bobby on my team to help me out.
He's like the ninja, isn't he?
Dude, he's amazing, man. Like Yeah, he's good.
That's awesome. It's good to know, man. Cool. Any last words before anything else for any agents?
No, man. Like, here's the thing. You're gonna either have to pay for leads, generate your own leads, or establish really good relationships with people to survive. Like, I mean, either you're going to be good at relationships, networking. I personally don't. That's not my favorite thing to do is go out and networking. But even with the generating leads, since we generate leads for referral partners, you still have to build that relationship. It's not like, hey man, I got the leads and then they're going to send you all their business. You still have to do that relationship building, but it's different, man. Like if I go to a mortgage company or a mortgage guy and say, hey, I got some leads that I just received. You want to test them out? Of course, it's easier for them to work with you than bringing like donuts or cookies or whatever. It's just really awkward when I was doing that. So to end this, I would say learn how to generate your own leads somehow, some way, even if it's not with paid ads, even if it's like organically with social media, you can do very well by generating leads organically without spending any money. But just learn a skill. I mean, everything to me, I think everything is learnable. And so it just takes a little bit of time to pick up a new skill.
Sure.
Love it.
Awesome. Nato, thank you so much. Been awesome to have you on here, and we'll catch back up with you down the road.
Thank you guys.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Really
Good, man. Thank you.
Has finding, training, and retaining the best insurance producers ever been your struggle? It's why Agency Vault built the Sales Strengths Identifier to uncover if candidates and current staff have the specific sales skills to get you top results. Try it free at www.agencyvault.com/dudes. That's www.agencyvault.com/dudes and assess your lowest performer for free. Try it now.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.